So there was a lot of exciting stuff this week going on with Starship. We're going to completely ignore anything that goes on with Falcon this week because whatever. We're only talking about shiny starships. So SN-10, which is the next Starship to launch, has completed 2 static fires. That's where you hold down the rocket on the ground and you test out the engines. After the first static fire, Elon said that one of the engines needed to be swapped out because it was suspect. And this engine swap didn't take very long at all. And the second test fire took place just 48 hours after the first test fire.
That's amazing.
So, I mean, they must have hired some NASCAR guys to go in. I don't know how much more difficult it is with an engine. I imagine it's very difficult. And then there's this tweet from Elon, which shows the Starship on the launch pad.
Now, what are those things on the side of the Starship there?
Those are test heat shield sections. So just like the space shuttle, the Apollo missions, and even the new Perseverance rover mission uses heat shields to be able to enter an atmosphere traveling very fast and dissipate that heat without melting the rocket.
But I thought that it was going to do sweating for its heat dissipation.
Right. And Elon has mentioned this. He said that transpiration cooling will be added wherever we see erosion of the shield. Starship needs to be ready to fly again immediately after landing. 0 refurbishment. Although that tweet was from a year ago.
All right, then Toby Lee said, how long until you think Deimos and Phobos rigs will be operational?
Elon said one of them may be in limited operation by the end of this year.
Wait, what's Deimos and Phobos?
Those are the names of Mars's 2 moons. They're actually just asteroids. But in this case, those are the 2 oil rigs that Elon bought for $3.5 million each a couple months ago that will become SpaceX's first offshore floating launch and landing sites for Starship.
Oh, okay, so then this tweet makes more sense. Eric X says, any further details on the rigs?
Elon said, I hope we don't go bankrupt building them.
Oh, so these aren't cheap to build?
No.
And then Cantaroo said, how will Starships be transported to the floating platform? Will these launch platforms be stationed permanently in the Gulf?
Elon said they will fly there from our launch site stationed around the world.
Then Everyday Astronaut said, will they have Saboteur reactors on them and produce their own propellant, or will it be shipped out?
Elon said, short term, the methane will be delivered and the oxygen will be produced. Propellant is 78% oxygen. Long term, Saboteur reaction to convert CO2 and H2O to methane and oxygen using wind and solar power.
Wait, so the rocket fuel for the Starships are going to be made on the floating platforms?
Yes.
What?
Yes. Essentially, using electrolysis, you can split water into hydrogen and oxygen. When we're talking about hydrogen power, we're focused more on the hydrogen, but you can also take the oxygen, because it's H2O, and use that as well. And then if you take the CO2 out of the air, you can convert that into methane.
I want to know more about these rigs.
Well, the rig Phobos is currently in Pascagoula, Mississippi, where it'll be refitted to launching rockets, and Deimos is at the port of Brownsville, just up the street from SpaceX Brownsville.
That's really cool. I mean, if you're nearby, maybe get some pictures of it for us, because, I mean, this isn't the actual rig. This is just a similar rig. I can only imagine what it was like one day when Elon was like, anyone available? You interns over here. We need to design and build the new space rigs. Thanks. And they're like, what? Wait, what? Okay.
And we're not 100% sure what these rigs are going to be for. I think that these are going to be the offshore platforms that the launching and landing of all rockets is going to take place from.
That makes a lot of sense because, I mean, right now when you launch a rocket from the ground station, you're disturbing people and animals and stuff like that. If it's offshore, there's a lot less people and animals to disturb.
Right.
So you think they're going to keep these apart and do like launches and landings between them?
No, I think that Starship and maybe even Super Heavy are going to return to the platforms that they launched from.
But I mean, if we look ahead, don't you need to start planning how you're going to do, intercontinental trips, and you have to start planning how you're going to do all that stuff?
Well, yeah, but I mean, the booster can return back to the thing, or you could have, the intercontinental, you'd land
Intercontinental.
Yeah.
I think this is moving faster than we all think, folks.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching Now You Know Clips.
You can watch full episodes of Tesla Time News on Mondays and in-depths on Fridays. Just click the link down below to head over to the Now You Know channel.